It's another episode of the Christian Reeve podcast. But are you subscribed? If not, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word about the Christian Reeve podcast and enjoy this episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Christian Reeve podcast. Today's guest is the founder of Reeve Media. His name is Arman Ananian. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Did I get your name right? I hope I got your name right.
Yeah, you got it right.
Woo! All right, first time. Let's just jump straight into this. So what exactly is your company about? What do you guys do? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve with Reeve Media?
Absolutely. We help clients grow their business with online advertising. At the end of the day, that's what we do. And we specialize in, Facebook, Instagram ads mainly. And that's what we do, help the businesses grow.
Okay. And so according to my research, you aim to educate your clients, like as you said, on the benefits of online advertising. But what exactly can you teach us about it? Like, what are the benefits exactly?
Absolutely. So I just want to start with a preface, which is it used to be so expensive to advertise your business. Not everyone could do it. Let's go back 50 years. It was, you got to pay for a billboard, you got to pay for a TV ad. No one could, spend $5 or $10 or $100 and reach so many people. And I think that's why now is the best time. And trying to, a lot of people just still to this day, they're doing well, but they're working on referrals, or all those type of stuff. And, online advertising is a way for you to, as long as you do it profitably and you do it the right way, to grow faster and accomplish your business goals sooner.
And which channels do you think are sort of the best ones to use these days? Because obviously it varies according to industry and company and such, but like which ones do you tend to find the most effective?
Absolutely. We've all of our customers are mainly on Facebook, the Facebook platform.
Okay.
Like there's billions and billions of users using Facebook and all its ecosystems, like WhatsApp and Instagram and Messenger and everything. So, that's what we use for clients. We also, help with Google Ads, but it's not our main thing. So, like we have, if I tell you, like we have very different clients on our agency, and they're all on Facebook, so they're all using Facebook to grow their business.
Yeah, it's interesting because while it is kind of available for everyone and it's pretty easy and it's obviously free to use and stuff, I do find that Facebook advertising is kind of, I don't know, my experience is it's not always very effective. But can you talk to us a little bit more about the effectiveness rate of Facebook? Like what kind of things it can achieve for you, or I don't know, like maybe in terms of numbers, like what are some of the kind of success cases you've had with Facebook advertising?
Yeah, absolutely. So, going with, just you at the end of the day, it has to be profitable with you. So that's like your first question. We got to structure it so it's profitable for you for some reason. A lot of times we as humans would like to make stuff complicated, I gotta build this funnel and then this email sequence and then this thing and then this other thing, and now my funnel is not working or whatever. And if you look at the biggest companies, a lot of times they don't have a very complicated funnel, a very complicated process. It's a very simple thing. Maybe they, one of our biggest clients, we just get leads for them and they call the leads, that's it. No funnel, no nothing involved. So a lot of times it's, you got to really take a look at it's not the ads, but it's the offer. So look at the offer and see how you can make it better, how you can make it more enticing. Maybe it's a total new view into, your offer, your service. By the way, Christian, we can dig into it. Like if you want to bring, and we can do like a live consulting session. If you want to bring like your business or something, we can talk specifically, whatever you want. And then your second question was case studies, right? So case studies, we have many of them. Basically one of the ones that comes on the top of my head is spending around 8,000 a month and then having, close to 55 to 60K in sales. And then, that is, in terms of margins, it was like, after everything counted, like everything was like 20 to 30% margin or stuff like that. That was one case study. Another client, we just did a big promotional campaign, which other channels were also included, but after 3 months, we helped generate 1.9 million in sales for them. So different, there are different types of clients. We have consulting clients where we help, them get coaching clients, right? And we help them get to, I think it was like 7,000 a month in coaching fees, so different stuff like that. Those are some of the results.
So for those who might not be so familiar with Facebook advertising, talk to us a little bit about like your typical goals that are set for a standard campaign, and what people would use to measure the success rates of advertising campaigns on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the basics, if you can put $1 in and get $2 out, that's the ideal. And how can we make it happen for you? Like, we can bring in a specific example, but like if you want to bring an example, Christian, we can go and do it. But you need to take a look at, where is the problem at? Or, like if something is not happening, you got to see where is the problem at, like a car mechanic. Is it the ads? Is it the targeting? Is it the copy? Or that's all the ads thing? Or is it the landing page, the funnel, the offer? Something is not clicking there, So you got to make sure that everything is in line and working together. And a lot of times one cool tip that I can offer to people is go look at what is your biggest competitor doing. Maybe they're spending 100,000 a month, 10,000 a month on ads. Take a look at what they're doing, and that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can basically model their offer, make it better, et cetera, and go with something that they've already spent a lot of money figuring out.
Talk to us a little bit more about your company, RF Media. Like, what kind of services do you guys provide? And obviously in connection with online advertising, what are some of the ways that you've kind of helped people to improve their businesses through online advertising?
Yeah. So we mainly manage the ads for people. Okay. So, if someone, it happens a lot of times that, the business owner, the CEO, gets with the ads to a certain point. Maybe they get 2,000 or 3,000 a month, they're 4,000 a month, but they get busy and, it's not like they're fully all day looking at the dashboard, looking at improvements, looking at new policies, looking at, new updates, et cetera. And that is, you can really see when that happens, because of course they're getting results, but so if someone is like all day only doing this, they're going to get better results with the same amount of money. So at some point it starts to make more sense to, to hire an agency and, go from there. So that's where we come in and we help them, take over that role. They can, we're still in weekly communication with clients, but we take over that role. They don't have to think about it that much. And, we deliver leads, we deliver clients, et cetera, working with their, working is very important that we are doing the advertising part. We're not doing like the funnel part, et cetera. We work with partners, but that is something that we work with the client on. We're not only, hey, with advertising, screw you. If you don't have a good funnel, screw you. No, we work with you to find the right person to help you out with it. Or if you have a person to getting on the right direction.
Thanks. Thank you for that. With regards to online advertising, in comparison with more traditional methods of advertising, I've realized as I've written this question as well, it's kind of funny because it doesn't really, well, it's gonna be pretty obvious your opinion on this, but I'll ask you all the same. Like, how do you think those two mediums compare? Do you think there's still kind of a case for using more traditional methods of advertising, or do you think that online advertising is kind of just that's the way and that's what all people should do?
I think of like of course the guy that sells billboards is going to tell you to use billboards. The guy that sells online ads is going to tell you to do online ads. But really, you see the reach for $100 that you spend. You can see the reach.
Okay.
The thousands of people, and you can directly measure. Okay, I got 3 clicks, or I got 10 clicks, I got 10 leads. A lot of times that there is a disconnect with like a print medium or a billboard, et cetera, et cetera. I was on a flight to Armenia, and we were watching the airlines magazine, and there were ads. Of course, these people paid a lot for those ads, and a lot of the ads didn't have any tracking. There was no QR code, there was no website to go. It was just an ad, and that's okay for branding. But a lot of these brands are kind of new, so it's okay that you're branding. You just got started. It's okay that you're branding, but what you want is sales because you just got started. So having some tracking included is why is that the online is better. But at the same time, it's once you reach a certain point, that it doesn't hurt to have all the billboards in the city. It doesn't hurt to have a TV commercial. So, and a lot of times, I heard this from Jay Abraham. They are partnering up. You can partner up with radio stations and TV stations and revenue share. So you can be also creative. Like abandoning traditional methods is still also a mistake. There is always creative ways.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think that's a great kind of point. Like it does obviously depend on the medium you're selling, but at the same point, yeah, I mean, I think that it's true. It's very difficult necessarily to quantify those older styles of advertising into numbers. Like how can you really tell how many people are actually paying attention to your billboard? Yeah, you can say, oh well, on average 100,000 cars pass this particular motorway every day, but it's like you don't know for certain. You just don't know. But yeah, thank you for that. So what tips could you give to beginners who are just kind of getting started in the online advertising space?
Absolutely. So first, I just want to reiterate that point because I didn't do it at the beginning, and if I did it, I would save money. So you gotta see what other successful people are doing and try to model. Period. Like that's a great start. It's building the wrong strategy, and apart. And I would tell them to, just stick to a method, learn it, and like basically learn the method and keep improving that method. There's a lot of times conflicting information that I see. Oh no, but like if you went on YouTube and started listening to everyone, there wouldn't be a consistent strategy that you could deploy that would be successful because there's so much different things that you're listening to. So just stick to one strategy. There's a lot of Facebook ad strategies. Just stick to one, learn one, and just spend money and get better at it.
Fair enough. Thank you for sharing. So tell us more about your B2B workshops that you do and what people can expect to get from them.
Yeah, I mean the B2B workshops, I think I don't know where you found that. that is something that might come in the future. That's not something we're offering right at this moment. But okay, now I know, and I already know what you mean. So it's basically a part of, we're part of a network in where, like, we have different B2B businesses, and we show B2B businesses in one industry how to get more leads through online advertising. So uh, definitely feel free to, reach out if you're interested. But that's basically it. Like, how can we, the workshop is all about how can you apply B2B strategies in Facebook ads, and how can you get clients through that. Um, a lot of people, pay for leads that, maybe a service get them leads, but like Info USA gets you lead information. Like that lead information, that platform has given it to 5 or 10 different other people, and it's not really your lead. Maybe you can work with it, but with Facebook ads, or whatever type of ads, it's your lead. You just got it for yourself, and that's more valuable, and probably has a higher conversion rate.
Given that online advertising has become very annoying to the extent that things such as ad blockers now exist on browsers and such, how do you sort of navigate this and still reach customers in a meaningful way and actually make conversions? Because I find them all the time. Particularly on YouTube, now on TikTok as well. They're just everywhere. You can't avoid them. And I'll be honest, a lot of the time when I see adverts, particularly when I'm trying to watch a YouTube video, it makes me hate that product and that brand because they're getting in the way of the thing that I want to enjoy. So, like, given that you're selling online advertising and you're responsible for this, how do you navigate that? How do you still get through to those people?
Absolutely. So let me tell you first that I'm the same. Like, I have my Instagram algorithm trained, so like I'm not kidding you. Daily, there's this feature in Instagram where you scroll and it shows you an ad. You can click on the 3 dots and say, this is not relevant, this is inappropriate, blah, blah, blah. So every day, myself, I do that like 3 times, between 3 to 5 times. This is irrelevant, this is inappropriate, this is whatever. Because this, like, first of all, I'm helping the algorithm target stuff that I want to buy or I'm interested. Like, I'm telling them it to weed out everything else. And I'm particularly proud of it because, like, lately I've been buying more stuff that I really want or I'm interested in. Like, the problem is YouTube, for example, it's totally irrelevant. Like, and I also experienced that. And you can also still provide feedback to YouTube saying this ad sucks. But the way I've seen it work, like, I'm now talking customer. The ads I've seen work are the non-intrusive ads. So one of the very interesting ads that I was watching was a woman a woman peacefully talking in the ad. It's very rare on YouTube for you to see an ad of a woman, peacefully talking and just explaining something and inviting people to a workshop. It's always about, hey, if you give me 10 seconds, I'm going to show you this amazing thing, and they're shouting at your face. So that contrast made me go to their site and register, et cetera, et cetera. So on the advertiser's end, you got to be different. You got to break through the noise, and on the and on the consumer's end, if you keep seeing the ad, it's probably working. Sadly, if you keep seeing the ad and these people keep doing it like month after month after month, it's probably working. It's still annoying for you, but maybe you're not their target market. Maybe because it's annoying to you, you're not their target market. But the people who actually believe in it and are excited, are buying. So I think those are all my thoughts there.
Thanks for sharing. I appreciate it.
What do you think? I want to ask you. So, what do you think advertisers can do to make a better experience? Make break through the noise. What do you think?
I would do away with the whole placing, or no, actually, I would make ads a lot shorter, much shorter. Like for instance, on YouTube, sometimes, and even with an ad blocker, you can't avoid this. So you get like 2-3 minute adverts, and it's like, okay, look, I can handle 15 seconds. 20 seconds. I might even be intrigued. There's been times, it doesn't happen often, but there's been times when I've been intrigued a little bit and I decide to, continue on. Because, sometimes you get the option of like, oh, you can skip after 15, seconds, but it's like a 2 minute advert. There should be more options there. There should be like always the option to skip early on, so that you give people the power. People want power. People want control. They don't want to be forced stuff, because the more you do that, the more people are inclined to just not use your website or your service. I mean, it's different with YouTube. Everyone's still going to use YouTube, but it just, I don't know, it, like for me personally, it makes me angry when I'm forced to just, like sit and look at this advert.
Me too.
And that's the thing. I find myself sitting there and just kind of mocking it. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit here and watch this advert and like, oh, look at this trash that they're trying to make.
That's such a great point. I think that's why, in a weird way, I think that's why Facebook and Instagram is a bit better. TikTok also. You're not forced to freaking see the ad. You just kind of scroll past it. So that is so huge. Like if we just take a second to like acknowledge that what you said, like me having to spend 15 seconds waiting to just hear dumb stuff that I don't want to hear about, that at some point has to disappear, because someone is going to come up with something that's going to disrupt that for sure, because it's already working on Instagram. Like we're not being interrupted, and we get to choose. We click on stuff that we want to see, and that's it. They're not taking 15 seconds of our lives to show us something that we don't want, so that's it. I think that is ready for disruption, I guess, in that YouTube sense,
Yeah, I agree, and I think you make a sound point. I think TikTok and Instagram do it very well. I mean, obviously the mediums demand it just because it's short form content. I mean, with TikTok, it's short clips anyway, so it wouldn't make sense to have longer adverts. That would just annoy everyone to the nth degree. But even so, I mean, the adverts aren't always necessarily a minute long. Sometimes they're a lot shorter. But yeah, like you said, you can always skip them, which I think is great. Always give the people the power. I mean, I find myself sometimes still watching the adverts anyway, just because, I don't know, it's interesting in some way, or sometimes it's just a good video. If you get content creators, like there's a lot of companies now working with content creators, which I think is a fantastic idea. Yeah, like because you don't always necessarily realize straight away that it's even an ad, because it's still content. And it's clever, and sometimes it makes you kind of chuckle and you're like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. But, maybe I will check out that thing because I like this creator and I like the way they've done this. And Instagram, I think, is excellent, but in a different way, because obviously it's mostly still picture content. And I can't count the amount of times that I've been scrolling, I see an ad for a page that I really like, or maybe it's a shop item or something like that. And obviously it's still optional because you can just scroll past it, and you can do the thing that you were talking about where you say, oh, I don't want to see this, but a lot of the time you just scroll past it anyway because you can't be bothered. And I just think that optional nature in online advertising is always key. Don't force people, just give people the option, and they'll probably be more receptive to your brand, to be honest.
Correct 100%.
So this is quite interesting. You've worked for Frank Kern and Grant Cardone. So talk to us a little bit about what it's like working for them and what you learned from that experience.
Yeah. So, it was an amazing experience. I used to just, be a business owner, a small business owner, just, helping clients with websites and marketing and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, thanks to Hernan Vasquez, who, he was and still is a genius marketer. He just posted a story, and I was like, okay, sounds interesting. He didn't say nothing about, Frank Kern, Grant Cardone, but he just said, someone, if you know about Facebook ads or know your work, like just apply. So I did that, and well, turns out it was for these great people. Like it's here, we're in Europe, Christian, you and I, we are in Europe, and I'm going to say something like, it's not like your average answer, but in Europe we're less energetic for some reason. And when you go to, and I like the face you're making, when we go to the US, like I went to Florida, Miami, and I see that, 9 a.m. the energy, everyone is, clapping, and we're gonna, what day is today? It's Monday,
Oh, back up a second. You're
Go
not
ahead.
talking about that really just annoying thing where it's like everyone's in the office at 9 a.m. like, come on, guys, let's have a great day. Let's
No,
own
no,
this
no.
day and like kill sales and everything. That's not what you mean,
No,
right?
no, no. So it starts this way, but it's kind of like that. It starts with all the previously day, or all the day, like all the winnings from previous days. So, hey, we got this amount in sales, we got this amount of email subscribers. Then it went on, and we talked about, one quote from one book, and everyone was reflecting, and et cetera, et cetera, and I don't know if that's it, but that was amazing. That energy, I don't see it anywhere in Spain. Like, so I was like with the eyes so open, like that was amazing. That energy, that hustle, that ambition. I think that was the biggest thing that that one of the biggest things that I saw, I experienced, and I learned from. Just keep surrounding yourself with those people. If you keep surrounding yourself with those people, you're gonna go far. That's number one. Number two was, in terms of like specifically advertising and stuff like that. I just saw the power of the personal brand for both Frank Kern and Grant Cardone. These people pretty much build like $10 million business. Like, Frank is at least $10 million, probably way more. Grant is also a lot, and they build all based on a personal brand. Like, think of how, off the internet, again, off the internet. Like, it's not like TV ads. Oh, I have this $1 million and I'm gonna put it here, and I'm gonna become a TV star, whatever. No, no, no. Out of the internet, out of nothing, they just build from their personal brand this huge company. So if they can do it, we can do it. Like, especially us that we're younger, we should do it faster, technically. Although there's a lot of distractions on our time, so that could hinder us. But we technically could do that faster if we apply ourselves. So, those were the two biggest things that I, took from it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, just switching it up. So, what are the best and worst things about Madrid, Spain?
There you go. So I lived most of my life in Madrid, and now I'm in the outsides of Barcelona,
Okay.
living. But about Madrid, best and worst things. I just love a lot of things, so I'm gonna be very, very biased and not say the bad things. I don't think about bad things. I think the people are very cool, very, very inviting. I think that there is so much history in Madrid, so much history. Um, and then, it's pretty multicultural. I like that a lot also.
Mhm.
Um, you go from the center, you don't see, well, now in COVID, you probably will see more Spanish people, but if not, you would see like people from all places, in there, and I think again, history, people, culture, and the food. Like, I'm a big food fan. Food, like my top foods are all either based in Madrid or Spain, basically. Yeah.
Were you born in Spain as well, or born
No,
elsewhere?
I was born in Armenia.
Oh, cool. Cool. When did you move over to Spain?
3 years old. I'm actually now back in Armenia.
Ah, right, right. What's it like being back there? I presume you've sort of traveled back and forth a lot over the years, but
No.
You
This is
know?
the first time in 20 years I've come
Oh, wow.
because my grandpa was sick. I
Oh, I'm
just wanted
sorry.
to visit him, and but no, it's amazing. Staying a bit longer,
Hmm.
and of course, it's your homeland. When you're in your homeland, you feel better. I've been accustomed to be an immigrant. It's pretty fine. I also feel like a Spanish citizen very well, but then your homeland is a bit different, and the everything is very cool here. So yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I lived in this country in Europe called Estonia for 3 years, and it did at points it did feel like home. You adjust, as you say, to the life and stuff, but you always are very cognizant of the fact that like you're an immigrant. That it's not like you're. I mean, well, with that, I think you're more reminded. Like people will remind you, or things will remind you, but generally you're like, well, this is my home and blah blah blah, right? You don't tend to think about it consciously, but I know what you mean. Like I feel like there's a spiritual thing about being in your homeland which you can only really
Correct.
understand and appreciate if you're talking to someone else who's experienced the same thing. Like I didn't get it until I'd lived away from my land, and then I came back, and because I never thought I'd get homesick, I never thought I'd miss the UK, but then I did, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Now I kind
Wow.
of, yeah, now, and I feel like there is something to be said for that, but it's different for everyone. Some people, they'll move away from their homeland and never look back, and I find that really really
Yeah, and
intriguing.
that's it. Yeah.
um Tell us a bit more about
Yeah, I
Armenia.
think it depends on the person, but it's very interesting. No, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about Armenia, because I think you might actually be the first Armenian that I've ever met. I'd love to know more about your country.
Of course. So, it's one of the oldest countries in the world. Of this is Yerevan, the capital, has been inhabited continuously for 2,700 years. So
Wow.
imagine the same city, people living for 2,700 years. Kingdoms and kingdoms have passed. Um, the Romans, the huge, mighty Roman Empire. Armenians lived with them, before them, after them. Somehow they've survived. Rome per se doesn't exist anymore. A lot of the kingdoms and big empires don't exist. Somehow Armenia survived. Just yeah, the history is amazing. The people, the food. Like I really encourage people to just come, mainly because it's cheap, and I'm not proud of it being cheap. It's cheap. You guys can come if you live in Europe or the US, etc., etc. You're gonna have a blast with not much money, and you're gonna eat well, and you're gonna do a bunch of cool things. So definitely good place to be.
What are some things maybe about Armenia that might surprise people that aren't really familiar with the country? Anything that particularly that sticks out in as far as your culture and stuff like that, or
I think I would say the best way would be to just, it's just it's just. Uh, I met someone yesterday who was from France, uh, and he's French. He doesn't have anything to do with Armenia. He just come here, and he came here once because of studies, and he's staying. He keeps on staying. It's just something in here that makes people stay. Uh, I don't know what it is. It's I guess it's magical. But the best answer would be, Christian, to like I'm doing some vlogs, etc., etc., and the best answer would be for them to take a look. I'm like,
hmm.
I'm not, and the cool thing about it is I'm not, like the typical, hey, go to London and visit this.
Yeah,
No, I don't care about that. I'm always like, I'm recording places that are very little known. So there is one place in Armenia. I'm gonna say, I think that's one of the coolest places. There's one place in Armenia. It's on the mountains, where you leave the car on a slope like this, and the car moves up.
oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, so you leave the car. I have a video of it, so nobody can contest it. The driver gets out of the car and the car goes up. It doesn't go like this fast, but it goes up. There is some magnetic presence there, like this actually scientific stuff. But there's so many magical places like that in Armenia, and definitely check out the future YouTube stuff and come over.
I really want to go now. That sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thanks for telling us about that. Yeah, outside of your work, what are your kind of major passions and interests in life?
I think major passions. I That's a great question. Major passions. So that's a great question. I haven't thought of it much, but let me tell you what I'm doing. A lot of times, when something bad happens, is when something in you gets born, something new. For me, Armenia was in a war, like 8 months ago, something like that.
Oh wow.
And really got me to care and stuff like that. And that, yeah, I think one of my passions for the rest of my life is going to be bringing more attention to Armenia, bringing more investment, more attention, more investment, and everything. Because we can very easily disappear. Like, as a country, we are between two Turkish countries whose goal is to combine together, Turkey and Azerbaijan. And it was very easy. There's like 3 million people, and there's 100 million here, and I think 30 million here. So it's very easy for them to do this. So it's I think it's one of my passions, just to make sure we preserve a unique culture. And that's it. I think that's definitely one of my passions. Another passion, less passionate about this, but I'm still young. I used to play a lot of retro games, so I don't have much time right now. But maybe 6 months ago, I would play like Game Boy retro stuff or stuff like that, because I really love it. So that's a second passion. Yeah.
What are your favorite retro games to play?
I think my favorite is Pokemon Silver.
Oh, I love those.
Specifically.
Yeah. They're so good. They're so good.
Have you played it?
Yeah.
What's your favorite retro?
See, I'm kind of caught between those two generations, because I love the Pokemon Silver Crystal. I'd say they're my favorite storyline wise, and like, you get a lot of bang for your buck because you get to explore both Johto and Kanto, which I always just blew my mind that you could do that. Even to this day, I still think that's amazing. But then
Yeah.
With the next generation, obviously the graphics were so much better, and the playability and all the things they added. This is Ruby and Sapphire I'm not talking about. And then, of course, they did the revamps of Fire Red, Leaf Green, all those of the original games, and added a bit of extra content. So I really dug that. And then after that, I kind of fell out of, because Pokemon just kind of got more and more complex. But those first kind of 4 generations, I would say, are excellent. Just for the simplicity of it all and the replayability. Even to this day, I find myself still playing, and yeah, it's very addictive. Great stuff.
Yeah, like, just think about the complexity. Think about like if you play through everything, you understand the whole complexity. You reach the game credits maybe after doing the I don't know how it's said in English, like the league. What is the league?
Pokemon League.
The League of
Pokemon League or the Elite Four. Yeah, they have different names for it, don't they?
Yeah, when you win the Elite Four, there you go. When you win the Elite Four, you get the credits, and after that, you see all the hours and hours and hours and hours, and everything put there. It's like a nostalgia box almost. Like, I don't know, it's just amazing.
Awesome, man. It makes me want to go back and play it now. I think I might.
Me too.
Okay, I love asking my guests.
Okay, guys. So after this, we're doing a Twitch session. Please join us. We're gonna play Pokemon Silver and then other games. You're free to join.
There was actually a point for a while where I was streaming exclusively retro games for a while. It was a lot of fun. It was.
Well, one of these days we gotta set it up. We'll do like a random session, and we'll maybe do it in 1 year after. But we can definitely do it. I'm up for it.
Why not? Why not? I love asking my guests this question, and I'd love to get your thoughts. What is the biggest life lesson that you've learned so far?
What's the biggest life lesson I've learned so far? I'm thinking of many. I'm thinking of many, but I'm thinking of many. I think that probably like not dwelling on what other people, when you have an idea, when you want to be someone, do something, and you get criticism and pushback, and you cannot do this. How are you doing? Like, how do you, like, who are you to accomplish that? They don't, number one, they don't see what you see. Number two, they're projecting their fears into you. And that what I've seen so far in life is that as long as you make it happen, nobody can tell you, basically. Nobody can tell you you're gonna make, people will maybe even love you and want the best and try to protect you. But as long as you have a vision, you execute, forget about everything else, really forget about everything else. Don't spend time trying to prove, trying to convince people, trying to whatever. Just get to work, prove them wrong as fast as possible. There's so much energy that you need to spend convincing people and look at me, who I am, that doesn't matter. All that doesn't matter. Just focus on getting to your goal as soon as possible, to prove them wrong, and to shove it in their faces. That's it.
Thanks for sharing. As we draw things to a close for today, do you have any upcoming projects or maybe some final thoughts that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I think, there is, I think this is a great lesson for everyone. So I'm applying one of the lessons I mentioned, when you asked what was the things that you learned, working for Grant Cardone and Frank Kern. Well, one of the biggest was personal brand, having a personal brand. Christian is doing it now with a podcast. I'm doing it through, also, different mediums, et cetera. But the ultimate answer to a lot of things, imagine how much easier, I'm just going to tell people, imagine how much easier it would be to get on a podcast with Joe Rogan if you had a lot of influence. Imagine how much easier it would be to solve all the problems. Let's say you're passionate about environment, you're passionate about someone in your family, imagine how much easier it would be if you had influence, if you had, a big following. So if you accomplish that, it's kind of like a life hack, I think. If you accomplish that for the right purposes, not, hey, I just want to be famous, period. If you focus on something, providing value, et cetera, I think that it's a way for you to get further, faster to wherever you want to go. Doesn't matter. You want to be the best artist in the world. You want to be the best coder in the world. Having a personal brand is going to help you get and grow faster. What you guys can expect from me is, more content, more cool stuff. I'll be opening a new program, which is basically, the more people subscribe, the more prizes I get, people get basically. So you subscribe to, we could do this, we can set the same up for you, Christian. But like if you refer my newsletter to 10 people, you get a prize. To 100 people, you get a bigger prize, etc., etc. So yeah, that's so feel free to sign up. We'll put the link somewhere, and that's it.
Thank you very much for sharing, and yeah, thank you very much for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Super pleasure. I have a lot of fun.
To everyone listening to the Christian Reeve podcast, as always, if you're listening on YouTube, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment. Let us know your thoughts on this one. Let us know who you would like to see on the show next and what you would like to hear on the show next. Same if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Leave us a review. Let us know your thoughts. We want to know. And as always, be safe, be well, and I'll see you in the next one.